So kind of up into your eyebrow a little bit. And you can kind of like blend it a little bit. Not too much because you don't want to lose the highlight or the shadow. But there you go. Now it gives the impression that your eyes are sunk in a little bit. And then underneath, you can do it a couple different ways. You can either do the wrinkle bags, or you can make the whole thing kind of dark, which is what I prefer. But you do want to put a little highlight in there as well to give the bag dimension and make it look like it's sticking out. So I'm going to add that in afterwards over top of it. Okay. Remember, a little bit of shadow goes a long way, so you don't have to use that much in most of these cases. It'll show up pretty easily. And then you want to put a little highlight in the bag area to kind of give it some dimension. Make it look like it's sticking out a little bit. Then you want to take your shadow and make sure that it's nice and thin on the brush. So you crinkle your eyebrows, and where that frustration line is, just go right down there nice and thin, and you kind of connect it over towards underneath your eyebrows. You want it to go over like that, kind of curve under, and then you could even do one right across your nose. Then you take the shadow and you go on either side of your nose and you shade it kind of go under the nostrils a little bit and up towards the top. You can shade into the highlight a little bit.
If you're making a happy old person, do you do frustration lines?
Yes. You could take that one out, and that makes them a little happier looking if you want. The across the nose one is optional. And underneath the nostril. And then a little bit into the highlight. Right. And then the last thing on the eye part of the face is the temple. You want to do a little dab in the center of each of your temples. And then you want to take a sponge and blend it. They call it the temporal fossa. The indents in your face are called the fossas, and the bones have different names. Like your eyebrows are the superciliary arch, and
creeper.
And you kind of blend that so it kind of gives the impression that they're sunk in a little bit, but not too much. So it's a little bit darker than my skin tone. Next thing we're going to move on to is the cheeks, which I have a little bit more round face. So for me, I do what's called apple cheeks, where you smile and you can see where the cheekbone is at the most puffiest. If you don't have really puffy cheeks, you can just highlight the cheekbone, which you can feel on yourself where it is, and you just want to highlight it. And the biggest thing with old age, and even with any makeup, is blending. So you want to blend this all around, and if you do the other cheek, if you do the other kind of cheek where it's not a round circle but a line, excuse me, you wanna do a line and then blend down and up so that it doesn't look like you just drew on a line. It's very important.
Blend up the sponge too, or just with your brush?
A little of both. Once you put the shadow on, you want to use your sponge.
Chris Hopper.
Oh, okay. Alright, and then now we're going to do the infratemporal fossa, which is the cheek, and you can kind of feel where it goes in. It's where your jaw is, really. It's kind of in a triangle this way. So I'm going to do a line and a line, and then from there I'm going to kind of make it into a triangle a little bit. And make sure you blend it into your hair, otherwise it won't look realistic. And just kind of blend it out. And that's when you can take your sponge and do the shadow upwards and downwards, so it kind of blends in there a little better. Okay. You do want it to be dark enough to see on stage, so maybe a little darker than what I have right now. So you can just add a little more shadow in and just darken it up with the brush.
I'm going to attempt something. It may not work.
Sitting on the counter? Okay, well I do need the mirror, so
Yes.
just make sure you don't put your foot in any makeup.
What? I'm not.
Don't fall off, and don't put your foot in anything, because that'll be fun.
Putting my foot in the sink.
Good enough. Alright.
That looks more off than I.
Okay. So you kind of see how that's a little bit darker than it was. I could even darken the temples, because on stage you won't be able to see it that well. So make sure it's nice and blended. Okay. So now I can use that, kind of smudge the edges a little bit. There we go. Kind of get